waiting a bit for the browser to come back up. Come on, browser. Come on, browser. Come on, browser, jump. Come on, browser. Okay, for whatever reason, the browser isn't loading up again. Give me a second. Task manager. Is Firefox up? It says Firefox isn't. So let's try booting it up again. Oh, what's that? Oh, there we go. Let's try to get my previous session back up just to make this quick. Okay. Okay, let's see how this is gonna work. Here I got dark blue instead of the shade of blue from before. Let's see. Let me adjust this a bit. Okay. Corinne, you are yellow now. Test. I am red. And Nuthead is green. Alright. Anyway. The Tales of the Music Maker ROM downloaded real quick, so I'll throw that up right here. Shrink the window? Okay. I will do that. Shrunk! It is so tiny! It is so tiny and tinier! It gets smaller and smaller. Alright. Nuthead, you're not familiar with Tales of the Music Maker? That's pretty good, because that means I'm gonna introduce this to someone. Woo! I think this Tails art is actually Sad AM's sock art. Now that you mention it. Like, it was stock art used to promote the Sad AM cartoon, if I remember correctly. And they just, like, rehashed it for this game. Well, yeah, Sad AM and AOSTH actually had a fairly similar art style once you took away all the grimdark elements that were thrown on Sad AM. Actually, yes, I mean, this game is not Japanese. Let me pop the credits up. The credits should be possible to pop up right from the title screen. Here we go. You can see all the credits are very American. NovoTrade. If you're familiar with NovoTrade, you might know them for the Echo the Dolphin games, I believe. they made quite an amount of Sega Pico games. Well, thankfully, none of their Sega Pico games are that hard. Alright, let's pop on the first page already. Here we got Tails here. Tails is slightly controllable. He can walk. He can jump in place. I can click on things and various random shit happens. Oh, do you... Excuse me. Give me a second. I was asked to remove the FPS counter. Give me a second. Let's see. Is it... let's see. Scale... Show FPS. There we go. Thank you for telling me that. But yeah. Anyway, Tales of the Music Makers, basically a bunch of barely connected mini-games. Let's start with this one. This one's the one that almost feels most like a Sonic game. Here you can make Tails walk. He can either tiptoe, or run, or jump. And basically you just keep going until it's over. Or I could mess up every chance I get just because it's hilarious. Woo! Yeah! Woo. But yeah, obviously this is basically some fluff, more or less. It doesn't really teach you a damn thing. Like, I don't really get what the point is. Other than an excuse to have a bunch of public domain music. Yeah, pretty much all the music is basically, like, public domain symphonic classics, cheesily converted into 8-bit chiptunes. You can theoretically get through, like, this whole game just by, like, tiptoeing and then jumping when necessary. Well, this was kind of... To be fair, this is kind of before people associated Sonic with its soundtrack. Like, even though all the Sonic games had good soundtracks, it wasn't like you were so used to having Sonic games with good soundtracks that, like, it was completely appalling. Besides, this is a lot more acceptable than what happened with Sonic Chronicles. Now that was a travesty! Yes, the hill changes colors. Now it's Blue Hill. It went from Purple Hill to Blue Hill. Speaking of purple, for whatever reason, everything that should be red is purple in this game. This includes Tails' shoes, as well as Robotnik's shirt. Yeah, Jigsaw, there's... if you... The thing with the Sonic Chronicles soundtrack is that it butchers a lot of, like, the Sonic 3K music, more or less. It's kind of sad, because Richard Jacquez is credited as his composer, but from what I remember right, like, his original plans for the soundtrack went under legal dispute or something, and all that new music was, like, thrown in the span of less than a month. I find it more amusing to think that this is the prequel to Shadow the Hedgehog, actually. Just for the irony value. Boop. Boop. Oh, a Sonic Marathon. Do they need anyone willing to play one of the Sega Pico games? Cause I could sign up for that if they need it. I don't know if they're necessarily speedrunnable, though. Ugh. Oh yeah, that Pendo shit. Oh dear. I know people who are clamoring for the Archie comics to be rebooted for years, and even they didn't want it to turn out the way that had happened. Well, yes, I mean, I don't think it's so much the problem with the gameplay of Chronicles, but basically, there were all sorts of problems that happened in the middle of development that it's quite apparent why there hasn't been a sequel yet. Interesting, Jinx. Is there any way I could, like, sign up for that, and I'd be like, hey, I'll play Tales of the Music Maker, just for a laugh. I'll follow it up with Cutie Honey, just for extra laugh. Alright, now if I click on this frog here, I will go into musical chairs. With more public domain music. Basically, my goal is to not fall into the red tadpole, lily pad, and die. Ah, okay. Now here, you gotta be lucky. Alright, I passed. Woo! Now, it'll go right into another one after this. And it's pretty similar from here on out. Except, as you can see, the pattern of the lily pads kind of changes. Which kills me right away. Haha. Anyway, next page. Here's Robotnik, wearing purple for God knows what reason. And I accidentally clicked into a minigame. Right. Here he is again. Look at me! I've become 20% more gay today. Now, here's this, and to be honest with you, I don't know what the point of it is. Other than to be really annoying. Now, here is a pinball minigame. Unfortunately, this isn't nearly as good as Casino Night. Bong. Ha 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 ha. Alright. Now, this minigame goes for a few stages. And... up, I fell. When I fall, my score resets. I don't know if there's any other point to it, but... oh well. I don't think I care about my score anyway. I mean... oh, shoot. Come on, go, get back up there! Oh. Nope. Oh, dang it, Tails, stop falling, you're deaf. Anyway, yeah. One thing you'll notice about the Tails sprite is that there is very sloppy sprite reversing used to have them go up and down instead of having a proper Sonic 2 style Tails sprite. You'll probably also notice that the sounds that are meant to go with all the instruments and whatnot sound really bizarrely high quality in contrast to the weird symphonic noises like that tilt. Well, yes, I mean, the Sega Pico was a pretty experimental thing, more or less. Like, for one thing, I'd say most of the games that were supposedly edutainment on it were really just fluffy, pointless crap. And, you know, most of the games were more just simple children's games. Like, honestly, the best Pico software was more or less self-aware of how pointlessly non-educational it was. And that was the pinball minigame. Let's click on Robotnik again. Oh, here we go. Now, in this minigame, for whatever reason, as you can see here, Tails has to collect these notes. By circling around them with this thing that looks vaguely like his urine. It sure looks like it. It's looking neat, Curran. I like how it looks so far. Oh. No! I missed it. I get a few more tries. Damn it, Tails! Stop peeing everywhere! There we go. I stopped Tails' peeing! Alright. That's all the mini games on page 2, as far as I know. Alright. Now here, we got a Breakout clone. Except it's slow as molasses, so it's no fun. Damn it, Tails! Yeah, the physics are terrible. Something wrong, Curran? I mean, besides this game? The thing that's most annoying about this is how it has this urge to, like, make you hear these annoying notes every time you hit them. Oh! I missed Tails, and he just, like, snapped back into place. Which makes you wonder what's the point of failing is. Morning Song, I would like to ask someone at Sega of America about that, because there's probably some story for why the Pico exists. It's obviously... obviously, like, America tried to treat it as, like, a afterthought thing where they made a few token games and then they shelved it as fast as they could. But the Pico actually did pretty well in Japan, and there's some titles that came out in Japan that I actually do think, hey, for a children's game, that's not all that bad. You know what I mean? Like, even a Cutie Honey game, like, you may think it's completely ridiculous and totally out of place, but at least it's actually entertaining. Yes, the Cutie Honey game was actually entertaining for the brief time you play it. And the Pokemon games are kind of worth it just for the novelty value alone, even though I don't think they're necessarily that fun. There were quite a few Disney games for the Pico, a lot of them Japan only, that I thought were actually pretty decent. But basically, most of the games made for the American audience were just like this mindless... Where it was either really boring, really mindless, or not fun, more or less. Like, it makes me wonder, like, was Sega Japan kind of... was Sega of America basically, like, forced to put the Pico out for whatever reason? Like, I actually heard one rumor that the Pico was made as a response to that whole Night Trap controversy. I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes sense that Sega would do that with the idea of giving it some token support. Although, seeing it take off in Japan is kind of weird when you put it into that perspective. As for most of the games Novo Trade made for the Pico, like, they made quite an amount of them, so I think they kind of had to churn them out like butter, and that would probably explain any quality issues. Okay, I must admit, I just did something sort of badass there. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that threw me off about the Pico the most. Like, Sega of America thrived off that edgy advertising. The very idea that I'd even bother with the Pico is baffling. Yeah, Sega of Japan, like, basically, Sega of Japan did not really concern itself that much with that edgy image. Like, you can see that with, like, Sonic Jam in particular. Like, you saw them, like, images and whatnot last, like, the time before. Like, all the bonus art in Sonic Jam is really cutesy and whatnot. Like, basically, Kawaii-sa applied to Sonic the Hedgehog. If that was all American art, it'd basically be Sonic trying to be all edgy and cool. Like, basically, I don't think Japan had its, like, edgy trend until a good bit later on, when they apparently thought Shadow the Hedgehog was a good idea. La. Yeah, the Pico was released in '94 in America. I think it was released in '93 in Japan. Yeah, it was '93. So it came out in Japan first, so I'm assuming it was a Japanese idea. And for whatever reason, they decided, let's bring it over to America, like, in spite of everything regarding Sega in America. Like, yeah, but yeah, what was I gonna say? But yeah, it came out in, like, June 1993 in Japan, and right off the bat it had, like, Disney games and anime adaptations and whatnot, so I guess it did decently right from the onset, and I guess they thought localizing it would be a good idea. But, yeah, one of the first problems they had with localizing it was that, like, basically absolutely none of the Japanese stuff was localized except Sonic the Hedgehog's Games World. So, all the Pico library in America and the Pico library in Japan is practically totally segregated, with very little intersect. Well, some of the stuff in Japan, like, it's kind of understandable, like Doraemon. Doraemon, like, is something that's very Japanese. It wouldn't really work for Pico in America. But on the other hand, there were multiple Disney games in Japan where I felt like, what was their excuse? Like, the Pico in Japan launched with a Mickey Mouse game and a Donald Duck game. You know? Like, it had Disney games right from the onset. Both of those games are Japan only. And Disney kept having Japan-only Disney games for the Sega Pico, like, pretty much up until the last year of its lifespan there. I don't know. I don't really buy the idea of quality control, considering that, like I said, most of the American Pico games were, like, blah. Whereas, like, I don't really know how to explain it, but basically, it just seems baffling to me. Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, if I was Disney, I don't know. I still don't think I'd buy that simply because that was like the Eisner sequel-itis era, where you would have thought Sega would have done, like Disney would have done anything to milk a Disney property. I would have thought they would have loved to release the Mickey Mouse game, and the Donald Duck game, and the Peter Pan game, and the Dumbo game, and the Winnie the Pooh games. And, yeah. Sega's history, like Disney's history, I mean, Disney's history is probably pretty interesting just to see it on the Japanese side, simply because, like, Disney of Japan seems to have a bunch of products exclusive to itself for God knows what reason. Anyway, let me roll this ball for a bit. Starting it over. And in that, Robotnik is wearing blue for some reason. I want to go back here. Whatever, next room. Now, I guess with this minigame, the idea is to pick the odd one out. No. Okay, let's try this. Oh, two of a kind, maybe. This confuses me. But you can only select two. And that doesn't make sense. Anyway. Whatever. Next. Okay, let's see. Ah, I didn't want to hit that one. Jeez. Tails, don't just randomly ram into things. Let's see. What? How do you hit two at once? Wow. Okay. I still don't get it. No. Hey! Damn it, Tails. Oh, is that what it is? Oh. I see. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, now I get it. Okay. There we go. Alright, now I'm back here, so that kinda means I cleared the minigame. Let's click on this bird. Now this is a Simon. Woo! Next. La. again, Jinx. So, apparently, if you play a bunch of children's music enough, you can de-roboticize a bird. Man, things would have been so much less angsty in Sad AM if everyone knew that right from the start. Right, let's go to the next page. Here we go. Here's Sonic! Ooh. Let's make him spin dash. Let's make him spin dash more. Let's make him spin dash faster. Let's make him spin dash even faster. Let's make him spin dash like this. Woo! Here's that bird. Yes. Oh yeah, and this guitar, totally the Sad AM guitar. Now here, I can just fiddle with this however I please. And with this, I shall become the next Mozart! Oh yeah, and you could just pop in any of that public domain music you want. This makes for a fairly decent sound test for the game, by the way, since as far as I could tell, it pretty much has all the game's music besides the title screen, and the end credits, and the first page, and the page stuff. That is one neat effect. Of course, the developers had to have studied music to make this game. Haha. Anyway, there was one other page that I think I can't figure out how to find the Oikaki page, huh? I don't even know if I can get in the Oikaki page from the ROM, huh? But yeah, I guess that's really it for this game. There isn't really much in it. Oh! I think Sonic's like the only character who actually has his shoes the right color, now that I think about it. Which is ironic, considering that if you actually have the physical copy of the game and check the storyboard page that corresponds to this, his arm is colored blue. Just like in Sonic Boom! Ah! Foreshadowing! Shadow. Yes, this is quite the... basically quite the... more or less. Anyway, I'll stop playing here because there's nothing really else to play there. Let's see, turn that capture off. What now? What now? I guess I'll log that stream. Stop